Pakistan's state-owned PIA has finally been privatized. What will be the impact of this PIA on Pakistan's national economy?
It played a major role in the earlier days to raise a national image and became a national carrier. It mattered in the aviation sector globally because it helped a number of airlines to establish themselves and groom them up to a very high level.
What will be the impact of privatization on the employees of Pakistan International Airline?
Political influences have always mattered to PIA. PIA has had its own bad share of different periods. The major contribution was towards the political influence that it had. Private sector or the corporate sector has enough experience to pick up the best management across the globe that they can. That will ensure that they go through the entire manpower that they have, and they have 1 year to analyze that and keep the best with them.
What do you think in future, these all plans in order to attract the Pakistani passengers, how it will be possible for the new management to introduce these all routes on European and American destinations?
Passenger traffic is not the issue with PIA. There is a lot of traffic that we have. We only need more aircraft in the airline.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Hello and welcome to program Insight in B News English. Dear viewers, 23rd December 2025 will be remembered in Pakistan's history. It is the day when finally state-owned, state-run Pakistan International Airline was successfully privatized, and it was finally sold to RF Habib Consortium. So in today's conversation, we will discuss what will be the impact of PIA's privatization on overall economy. We will also discuss that what will be the impact of PIA on its performance and its impact on its employees, its impact in aviation sector of Pakistan. Because in Pakistani aviation sector, PIA was the only and the largest airline of Pakistan. And not only this, but one of the oldest airline in Pakistan. So, and what led to its privatization? The man behind its privatization will be joining us today, and his name is Air Marshal retired Farhat Hussain Khan. He has been former Vice Chief of Air Staff of Pakistan Air Force, by profession a fighter pilot, and after retirement he got a very, very important opportunity in caretaker government of Mr. Anwarul Haq Kakar, Prime Minister. In 2023-2024, he was given a very, very important task and responsibility as Special Assistant to Prime Minister on Aviation. So during that tenure, Air Marshal retired Farhat Hussain Khan worked hard and finally carried out reform process in PIA. And that was a reforms process which finally led to its privatization on 23rd of December 2025. We are fortunate that Air Marshal retired Farhat Hussain Khan Sahib is part of our conversation today. He has been very kind despite his very busy schedule. He's in our program today. Very warm welcome, Air Marshal retired Farhat Hussain Khan Sahib in program Insight in V News English.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Thank you very much, Mateen Haider Sahib.
It's pleasure to have you in our program. So, Air Marshal Farhat Sahib, the news is everywhere in the world that Pakistan's state-owned PIA has finally been privatized. Before going into these all technical details, I would like to know that it is treated it as a global story. International media carried it. What will be the impact of this PIA on Pakistan's national economy?
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Mateen Sahib, PIA and the national economy, these are integrated subjects.
Interlinked, exactly.
PIA being the national carrier, being the national carrier, had influence on the economy for various reasons. Number one, it played a major role in the earlier days to raise a national image and became a national carrier. It mattered in the aviation sector globally because it helped a number of airlines to establish themselves and groom them up to a very high level. So PA was known for its name. As you know, it used to be a great people to fly with. It has the honor of flying many presidents, many head of the states on board. Uh, Economy and PIA for the last couple of years, not couple of years, maybe about 15, 20 years after 80s, the PIA started going down. Earlier on, it was a profit making entity, and the economy used to get positives out of it. However, late 80s and subsequently, it started going down for various reasons that we can talk later. But as of last 5 years, stating 20 early 2022, 23, PIA was going into loss. Only for the last few couple of months, or maybe in 2024 middle onwards, PIA did start making some operational profit because the loan part of it, which was huge, was put aside into a holding company. So as it stands today, it was, yes, running all right, but not making a huge contribution to the economy because of the loans that it had.
So, Aviation Saab, since long, of course, since it was state-owned airline, every successive government had massive political induction into Pakistan International Airline. So, making it an organization which is overstaffed. So now the question is, once now it is privatized, what will be the impact of this privatization? As we have seen, RF Habib Consortium, which purchased this airline, he was saying that he will try to make its improvement. So, question is specifically, since you have carried out reforms, you were part of the reform process. What will be the impact of privatization on the employees of Pakistan International Airline?
PIA is, as it stands till yesterday, is a public sector entity. Public sector entities in Pakistan or and countries like that in third world are not known to be efficient for two reasons. And that was the precise reason that PIA went for privatization. Number one is that since employees are of public sector, their pays are guaranteed. Their promotion and benefits are not linked to key performance indicators. Therefore, the public sector stays inefficient. And then the second aspect is that political influences have always mattered to PIA. PIA has had its own bad share of different periods. The major contribution was towards the political influence that it had. And you know what it means. So, therefore, these two factors contributed towards the low performance of PIA. The airline manpower, or the HR that we call it, as it stands today, after privatization, what will happen is the airline, as I was hearing this Mr. Habib also in the morning, the private sector or the corporate sector has enough experience to pick up the best management across the globe that they can. That will ensure that they go through the entire manpower that they have, and they have 1 year to analyze that and keep the best with them. And when that happens, people start performing automatically in the corporate sector because their entitlement, their facilities are linked to their performance, not a, a given situation. So, therefore, the performance of these people is likely to improve. Because of the corporate sector competition, the airline is a very, very competitive market. So therefore, I think the same manpower, a reasonable number out of those would get adjusted because they will start to improve. The rest, of course, will have to maybe find some other avenues, explore some other avenues. But I think the same manpower will improve under the corporate sector.
So, Air Marshal retired Farhat Hussain Khan Sahab. This was one of the giant in Pakistani aviation sector, one of the oldest airline in Pakistani, and it has, as you also mentioned, once upon a time it used to be a very very great airline. But now I will ask you that what will be the impact on Pakistani aviation sector? So our aviation sector may not be that large as it is in different South Asian or European countries. But despite that, it is quite significant. One, what will be the impact of PIA's privatization on Pakistani aviation sector?
Pakistan's aviation sector may not visible to be large, but is fairly large for a country like with 240 million people. That many passengers, that much of traffic, and that much of international. We also have an advantage of our specific travelers like Hajj, like our diaspora across the globe. So therefore, PIA, as it stands today, is running into problems because of many reasons. Major reason today was less number of aircraft. They probably, as you heard yesterday, they had total of 18 serviceable aircraft out of total 33 aircraft that they have. Out of these serviceable aircraft, they have 12, I believe, on rent from
Please,
other sources,
exactly.
and 6 aircraft are their own property. So what will happen now? What the corporate owner of the company will definitely put into money and had add aircraft. Like we heard today, they plan to make it 50. So from 16 to 18 aircraft, if the airline goes to, even if it is not 50, 40, that is a jump many times. It will add to the airline's reputation. It will start to reduce the market travel the ticket for the people. So it will be cheaper ticket available to Pakistanis. There will be more options available. The PIA has a number of routes that it was not using. So they will start to use the entire available routes of Europe, United States, Canada, Malaysia, Far East. So when they start to use these routes, obviously the economy of PIA will start to go. They will start to pay tax to the government. The government will start to get more money. So therefore, there are all positives of this privatization.
Another important thing is at exactly at the time of takeoff, the plane used to face technical faults. And connected to the technical fault, there was an unknown reason for late takeoff. And for the flights used to take hours and hours right on ground, telling the passenger that in next 2, 3, 4, 5 hours we will be taking off. So unknown reasons, delays in timely departure, these two things, technical faults and delay takeoffs.
Delay in takeoffs happen because of various reasons, and let me mention one or two. Number one, when the you have more routes to fly, you want to stretch yourself, you have less aircraft, so you're likely to have these difficulties. For instance, an aircraft can only fly that much in 24 hours. So 12 aircraft can only fly that much in 24 hours. You increase it to
Mm.
24, you can fly more. So available sorties are more, available aircraft are more, so therefore there is no delay. There are always standby aircraft that are catered for. If there are no standby aircraft or there are no close by aircraft in the window of available, obviously you will not have aircraft and the flight will get delayed. So delays are because of technical reason. One, technical reason because of inefficient maintenance is one cause that can be there. The second technical reason could be age of the aircraft. So both things
Mm.
are probably applicable here. So therefore, technically, the flights get delayed. There is no replacement of the aircraft. So obviously, the flight continues to get delayed till another aircraft comes from somewhere else after a few hours that is turned around, then given to airline. So therefore, when the small fleet causes these delays.
Air Marshal Saab, how the customers' confidence could be restored on PIA because of technical faults, because in the past we have seen 5, 6 years there have been plane crashes. PIA plane crashed in Karachi. So the kitchen, food, the services, due to these all things, Pakistani aviation or Pakistani aircraft customers used to opt for other airlines. So how PIA will be able to restore the confidence of the customer, which is also known as frequent flyers who used to fly through PIA, but later on they abandoned it and opted for other flights, restoring customers' confidence.
Customers' confidence will only come when the services provided by the airline are up to the mark, are competitive in the market. That means the flights go on time as the other lines would follow. Uh, Timely execution of operations is one. Cockpit service in the cockpit is second. Booking aspects is another. So all these services that are applied to a customer are should be better in the private sector than the public sector. So I hope that the services start to improve and the people start to feel happy.
So in the past, PIA used to have an excellent routes in Eastern Europe, Central Europe, Western European countries. It used to be very, very popular on many destinations like Madrid, like Barcelona. It used to go to Frankfurt. It used to go to Milan and then to Rome. And then it used to be connected to many other European countries, including there was, if I'm not wrong, there was PIA used to go to Copenhagen and to a number of European destinations. And it used to fly between Pakistan and United States of America. So what do you think in future, these all plans in order to attract the Pakistani passengers, how it will be possible for the new management to introduce these all routes on European and American destination, although on the UK route, it has already started.
As far as the airline getting back to its past,
Strength,
that
exactly.
is getting into all the routes that we used to fly, the only thing that they need is put in more aircraft.
Hmm.
PIA stopped flying to these destinations because of lack of number of aircraft. The major reason there could be efficiency problems, but PIA definitely needs more aircraft. It will solve 80% of its problems, even if it start, let's say, in the next 2 3 years, it puts another 30 40 aircraft. As it seems, the corporate sector will do that. So adding more aircraft would mean start to utilize the routes that are not being utilized presently. Our diaspora abroad will start to fly directly to Pakistan. So I think passenger traffic is not the issue with PIA. There is a
Hmm.
lot of traffic that we have. We only need more aircraft in the airline.
Another thing is that you might have noticed once you were special assistant to Prime Minister on aviation and caretaker government, some of the profitable routes were outsourced to other organizations. And I may not mention the airlines of those countries, but PI has sold out or outsourced those all profitable routes. So why it was done? Because PIA itself, as you said, that there was shortage of aircrafts, but in some of the routes there was no shortage of aircraft. Kuala Lumpur used to be a popular destination. Istanbul used to be a popular destination. Bangkok used to be a popular destination. Air Marshal Saab.
Actually, Tariq sir, actually, it all comes to finally one point. Uh, how many aircraft do they have and how many destinations they can meet?
Hmm.
For instance, some of the destinations need larger aircraft, wide body, 777,
Hmm.
330, 340. Some destination only need, let's say, 320 or 777 type of aircraft. So you can fly around 4.5 to 5 hours on these small aircraft, and anything longer than that, a larger aircraft is required, wide body aircraft is required. So reduced number. Up, you can imagine with six wide bodied, if they have today. I'm not very sure how many. How many destinations can they meet? If an 777 leaves Islamabad for New
Hmm.
York, it doesn't come back same day. It goes
Hmm.
and comes back next day. So you need another aircraft to fly the same route if you want to fly next day. Otherwise, you fly. So number of aircraft is what is the final define the outcome of the airline.
So, talking about aviation sector is booming worldwide. Particularly, we have seen in Central Asia, we have seen some of the Central Asian countries have introduced their airlines to Pakistan, to Lahore, Islamabad, and but PIA couldn't start. Even the private airlines in Pakistan couldn't start air routes to Central Asian countries where there is huge tourism, where there is huge. Of course, Pakistani tourists are very keen to visit Central Asian countries. Pakistan and Azerbaijan enjoy good relations. Azerbaijan used to be a very attractive destination. Question is that what needs to be done so that Pakistan could become an aviation hub in the region. As you mentioned, there is no issue of passengers flow. Passenger flow is there. So, how to make Pakistan aviation hub in the region?
Number one, if you say the private airlines, less PIA, were not flying enough, I don't think that is 100% right. There is some truth in that. The recent, in the past 7 years, the airline that have been raised, the Air Seal, the Flyjana, they've been
Mm.
expanding every year that you see in terms of number of flights, numbers. So they are flying to east, west, everywhere that they can fly. However, the restriction on any new airline is that they have to fly domestic routes for 1 year, then they start to go international, and then the aircraft have to be added. So the airlines, those who've been adding aircraft that I mentioned, they have been flying abroad and they're meeting these destinations. However, PIA has been shrinking because it never had aircraft to match the traffic requirements. That is one. Secondly, unfortunately, because of our long term negativities in the aviation sector, that is, we've always been very open to give our routes to the other airlines, not working on reciprocal basis. Like at this
Mm.
time, I think 3 years back, if I remember the figures correctly, 92% of Karachi traffic, south traffic, is not with Pakistan Airlines or Pakistan's airlines.
92% off. 92%.
Yes, 92% traffic. And I think if I remember the figures, it's somewhere center Multan, Faisalabad also had bought only about 65% of traffic in your route. 35% gone to other airlines. So we have very lavishly allowed these airlines to come, not getting reciprocal flights in turn for our airlines. That has been downward part of the aviation policy.
Hey, Marshal Saab, how you see beyond privatization? Now, a private consortium, RF Habib consortium, has taken over. So, despite this, there are challenges. So, in your opinion, what needs to be done? What are the areas which needs to be immediately focused so that the airline may perform? Because still, government has 25% shares, 75% shares have been sold into the private sector. So, what immediate attention, what immediate focus need to be done by the new management?
With the 25% shares on the government side, they do not have majority in the board. So PIA board that makes decision,
That the
that will
case.
be 70% with the private sector. So I
Hmm.
don't think the 20%, 25% would influence the 70%, the 75%. Therefore, the decisions will be all according to the corporate sector and the market requirements. That's
Hmm.
one. Uh, Therefore, the political influence would reduce in running the airline. One. Secondly, as they intend to, and they must do it, they must induct certain number of aircraft immediately. I'm sure they must have done their homework. For instance, and they have no shortage of money also, because out of the bidding process of 135 billion that we heard yesterday, they'll pay some of it to, as I 10, 15, whatever it is, to the government. Remaining money would get inducted into the airline for its
Development.
rehabilitation, for
Hmm.
its upgrade. Therefore, they will have resources, and I'm sure they will. Habib Group will add some more money to it. There is no shortcut to having more aircraft. But the Pakistani traffic is enough to absorb these aircraft, so they must add aircraft. And let me tell you the addition of aircraft cost per aircraft. The induction of aircraft is a little difficult because of the requirements are
True.
more. However, on the average, every 320 or 737 would cost 15 between 250,000 to about 270,000 per month as lease money.
Mm-hmm.
And if let's average it out to about 260,000,
Mm-hmm.
260,000, if you have, you can borrow one aircraft, lease in one aircraft. So if you want to have 10 aircraft, all you need is 2.6 million per month. Or if you make it for 10 years, so it is with these 100 billion that they have for rehabilitation, they should be able to conveniently add a number of aircraft that are desired. So I think PIA is about to take off in this road.
So there are huge loans, as you also talked about. So will it be possible for this new management to pay off gradually these all huge loans, which are extremely a huge financial burden on PIA?
No loans at this time. There are no loans on the operational element of PIA. PIA has two
Operational
elements.
element, there
One
are
is
no
the
loans.
operation. No, there are no loans. The loans that have been parked in a holding company called PIA Holding. I think 600 billion plus loans have been parked there. These are not a liability on the new team that is buying airline. So
Mm.
there is no problem on that account.
So ultimately, in the future, what do you think? What should be the an ideal roadmap for an excellent, vibrant, independent, fast growing aviation sector in Pakistan?
The aviation sector growth has many dimensions. Airline is only one. There are a number of other elements of the aviation sector. Uh, Airline management, other than management, also is dependent on the regulatory functions that we have in the country or the aviation policy that because that has a sometimes the taxes are high, sometimes so many other things. So therefore, overall, I don't think, if I put it straight, our aviation policy is very conducive to the growth of aviation sector.
That
What
needs to be
is
reviewed.
that definitely needs to be reviewed because it is an over regulatory scenario that we have in this country. So the airlines do grow, but on their own push, on their own sector wise, the aviation sector is not that much helped by the regulatory bodies. That's all. Not only airline, the airport services is one. For instance, how much time does it take to turn around an aircraft at a particular airport matters.
Mm.
If you take, there are airports where the aircraft lands, goes into parking, passengers are out in 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20
Mm.
minutes, 30 minutes. Differences are huge. So our airport services are also not very efficient. That is why the government of Pakistan for the last, I think, year plus has been planning to outsource the airports also
Operations,
for
exactly.
these to become more efficient. So airports have the support infrastructure through the airports have to be there to support the airlines. Therefore,
Mm.
airline efficiency is also dependent on the efficiency of the airport. Because at airport, there are a number of organizations that work. FIA, Airport Authority, the
Customs,
security staff,
ANF, exactly,
customs,
security.
and the time taken in on airports in Pakistan is far higher than time taken per passenger
Mm.
in the advanced world. So therefore, number of aircraft have to be added. The system must be conducive enough. The policy must be regulatory, and if not the last, but very important, people, those who man the aviation sector, must be professionals.
That's very, very important. So people who man this, who control and regulate aviation sector must be professional. Other than aircrafts, airport services across Pakistan need to be improved lot and looked after a lot. That has not been privatized. And there are reports that these services might be outsourced as well, but that matters a lot, as Air Marshal retired Farhat Hussain Khan Sahab has said. Air Marshal Saab, despite your very busy schedule, you have been very kind. This was one of the important development in Pakistan that PIA was privatized, and share your thoughts. You shared your strategic roadmap for aviation sector in Pakistan and what needs to be done to make immediately the improvement in PIA system, flights, customer service, and other things. Thank you so much once again. And dear viewers, till our next program, goodbye and Khuda Hafiz.